Hi and welcome to Intuitive Insights. On this channel we discuss everything to do with the ascension process. I want to welcome all of our subscribers and welcome back anyone who's new. As I'm sure you've all noticed by now, Kayla and I have decided to start doing the different astrological readings for the different zodiac signs. And so I want to welcome right now all of my Pisceans. Hello Pisces, we're going to be doing your reading today. This is going to be for Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising signs. It is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everybody. Take what resonates and leave the rest. That may be part, that may be the entire reading, that may be none of the reading at all. If that's the case, you definitely feel free to check out the other major aspects of your chart. And if you don't know what those aspects are, you can go to a website such as astro.com and they will, you put in your birth information and they'll do up a chart for you so that you can find out these things because they are absolutely lovely to know. I also want you guys to know that if there's a certain video, the title resonates, the photo resonates, just something about it is drawing you to it, then check that out because there's probably messages in there for you too. We have all of the signs of the zodiac within us, and so like we can relate anywhere. It's just about learning how to tap into your intuition and what video it's telling you to go to. So without further ado, clear. Pisces, May 2020. Pisces, May, holy shit. All right. Wow. We got some cards coming out for you guys. And we're going with it and we're going to take them. We are going to take them. So we have Shadow, number 18. And so the Shadow, if I'm not mistaken, is the Moon card, I believe, in the traditional tarot, which would fit. We are using the Psychic Tarot right now, by the way, which would fit because, you know, that is the card that represents Pisces in did I just say that? I don't know. It's been a long day. But anyway, yeah, so this is the Shadow. This is all about you guys exploring your shadow selves, right? Like we have Pluto in retrograde right now. I'm bringing this up in a lot of the videos. Definitely go and check that video out. So it's the exploration of the shadow self. It's the exploration of all of those deeper, darker parts of yourselves and like digging in for and finding the hidden gems that are revealed when we're willing to go beneath the surface and sink into that place of the unknown. I'm seeing very much a journey into the unknown for you guys. You can see the dark and the light, right? The duality in this car and the embracing of the duality. And that is what Pisces is all about. Excuse me as I rearrange myself here. You guys know me, I fidget. But yeah. You know, so Pisces is about that. That's the two fishes, right? We've got the two fish in the two different directions, the two aspects of self, whether that be the masculine and the feminine aspects, the spiritual and the physical, you know, all of the dualities that exist between us, and the harmonization of those dualities, and which is the ultimate goal of Pisces. And so this is a journey that you guys are very much on right now, is really looking into those other aspects of yourselves that you maybe haven't really put much effort into looking at before, that you maybe haven't wanted to sink that deep into yourself. And right now you're seeking really deeply into yourself. And then we have obstacles and challenges. And so I'm still trying to, and maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Well, there is no should or shouldn't, right? But like relating these to the traditional tarot as well. So we have the 5, I believe this is, it's not earth, it's not emotion. These are wands. This would be like the 5 of Wands card. So yeah, and you can see he's sort of like, he's walking here and there's this break in the log, in the fixture that he's walking on, and it's like, does he dare to keep moving and dare to jump? And so it's sort of, there are obstacles and challenges that are being presented to you guys right now, but you have all the capabilities inside of you to overcome those. And the reason that those obstacles and challenges are showing up is so that you can grow through that experience. And we have foundation and achievements next, which would be like the Four of Wands, right? So it's like you can have everything that you desire. You can create these foundations for yourself and yourselves, and you can achieve everything that you would like to achieve in this lifetime. But it's going to require overcoming these obstacles and challenges and knowing that these are only placed here for your growth and your betterment. And some of these obstacles and challenges, really the purpose of them is to reveal this shadow side of yourself, right? It's to reveal this subconscious stuff that's actually been holding you back so that you can move beyond that and so that you can integrate that. And it's revealing the gifts that are hidden under there too, because you are all such sensitive and intuitive and gifted people. And so it's helping you to tap into a deeper level of your gifts. These obstacles and challenges that are being presented to you are forcing you to dig deep within yourself and to find what already lies within you that allows you to overcome them and allows you to understand the lessons of that. You know, a big part of Pisces' journey as well is understanding the lessons and understanding the deeper spiritual meaning behind experiences, right? It's rising up out of this state of, like, the lower vibration of it can be like this victim mentality state, right? And it's rising above that and seeing everything from this higher spiritual perspective. And so, yeah, I mean, that's something that you guys are really learning how to do right now as well. And yeah, like forcing you to dig deep into that shadow stuff, to dig deep within yourselves, to realize how very capable you are, and to really unmask all of these talents and these gifts and these abilities and these capabilities that are lying in the surface, under the surface, waiting for you. And we have the third eye chakra. So we have an opening and an awakening of the third eye chakra. You guys are really tapping into your psychic gifts and abilities right now. This is like the floodgates are really opening for you around that. And I mean, that's always an incredibly exciting process. You know, like I said, like, you guys are highly intuitive and you are very highly spiritually and psychically sensitive. And so those senses are really awakening right now, and possibly sort of filtering into and tying into these foundations that you're building and these achievements. Some of you could be moving into an area where you're utilizing those gifts for laying the foundation for different achievements, different career goals, different ways of, you know, helping. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing because I just noticed that intuition was the card right next to the third eye. Helping the collective was what I wanted to say, is you are very much about that. And so for a lot of you, all of this awakening process that's going to happen, whether it's like the process that you go through of doing your own shadow work and sharing that, or this process of your awakening of your psychic gifts, of overcoming these things that you're overcoming, whatever it is, like the process that you go through and what happens during this is going to lay a foundation for some way that you are going to help others possibly to do the same thing moving forward. So I definitely feel that for you guys. And then, yeah, so intuition, which represents the high priestess in the typical traditional Rider-Waite deck, is also here too. So this is just like, you guys are on fire right now with your spiritual progression and your spirituality. And I mean, that's absolutely fucking beautiful. That is just so beautiful. And this progression here that we have, you know, from the five and into the, yeah. It's interesting because I don't know how they came out. Like, when they fly out, but I positioned the 5 before the 4. So it's of wands. So it's interesting. It's sort of like you're progressing. Those obstacles and challenges are what's leading to this, the foundation and achievements, instead of coming after. Like, yeah, one leads into the other. And yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then we have suffering and silence on the bottom of the deck. And that, this could be likened to like the Nine of Swords, I believe. So it's about mental entrapment and stuff like that. And it's moving beyond that, like we talked about with the moving beyond the empowerment and moving beyond the victim consciousness and all of that, and that journey of Pisces, right? So it's like, moving out of that realm of being trapped in the mind and sort of having our mind be our enemy, right? Like we talk about this, I talk about this a lot, this whole process of how our mind is meant to be our servant and not our master, and as we increase our intuition and we open up our third eye, we are able to see situations from such different points of view than we were able to see them before. And we're able to understand so much more. Like that's how we come to be able to understand that spiritual journey on a deeper level, is because we're looking at it through a new viewpoint. And a lot of this suffering just kind of fades away because like it's just no longer necessary for us. You're moving into a phase of your life where suffering is, it's funny because the next card is moving on, right? So it's like you're moving to a phase of your life where suffering is no longer necessary. Suffering is optional, and it's probably just not going to be all that appealing to you guys. So it's moving out of that energy and into this energy of just like complete this beautiful spiritual energy. But it's not going to be without some of the trials and tribulations that come with that, and the looking at all aspects, not just looking at the things that are pretty, but looking at all of that deeper, darker stuff that's under there, and really acknowledging that and working through that, acknowledging those ignored parts of the self, right? Yeah. And it's, the other thing is now I'm being drawn to the card as it would be the moon in the tarot deck. And it's also making me think that it also just signifies a time of mystery, a time of intrigue, a time where nothing is quite what it seems. It's just being willing to step into that unknown, that sort of initiation. It feels like a very initiatory kind of cycle that you're going through right now, is being initiated into these deeper levels of spiritual development, these deeper levels of self-knowledge and self-exploration. So that's what I'm feeling for that. And then we're gonna do, let's see, I want to pull one of these. So, clear. For Pisces, card for Pisces, May 2020, please. Okay, so we got a few cards for Pisces here. 20, life path. So you're moving on this journey towards your life path right now, finding the next, your calling, right? Finding what it is. Like we talked about, we said some of you may be finding that you have paths, which shouldn't be a surprise, right? For Pisces, right? As healers or guides or people showing other people the way, showing other people how to heal themselves by what you've done, by sharing the experience that you've had. But any different ways that your life path is manifesting and unfolding for you right now, like that's going on. We have 1111 messages in the numbers. So this just means pay attention to the ways that the universe is trying to communicate with you as you're opening up your intuition and you're developing spiritually. Like Spirit's going to be trying to communicate with you in as many ways as possible. And one of the ways that Spirit does this, we actually have a video on this. If you go to our playlists and you check out informational videos, there's a video about synchronistic numbers and synchronicities and stuff like that. So if this is a new concept for some of you guys, definitely go and check out that video. But yeah, notice those occurrences that seem like there's no way it could possibly be coincidence because it's so perfectly orchestrated, right? Notice when you see repeating number sequences, really when anything is repeated to you. Anytime a message is repeated to you in multiple ways, whether it's through people, through billboards, through songs you hear on the radio, whatever it is, like that spirit really trying to get your attention. So pay attention to that stuff. And the more you pay attention to it, the more you notice it, right? So spirits definitely, and spirits try to communicate with you about your life path. So just be open to the communications that are coming through in all those different ways regarding your life path and your life mission. And then you also have divine grace, the law of efficiency. And we're going to read that one from the book. That is 32. I get really thirsty doing these videos sometimes. It is time your life became easier. It's time for you to walk the way of divine grace with trust, simplicity, and acceptance. You do not have to try to make things happen. You can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all will be as it is meant to be. Surrender your struggles now as you allow life to serve you with love and kindness. This is the most efficient use of your energy and will lead to the best results. The law of efficiency encourages us to work smarter rather than always working harder. It is like learning to allow a wave to carry you to shore rather than swimming the entire way with your own efforts alone, or even against the current, which would make the journey even harder. It is like planting a seed at the right time so nature will help it bloom in the spring, rather than planting it during the dead of winter when it takes a lot of effort to keep it alive. And so this is also about just knowing the timing of things and when timing is opportune and when timing is not. And learning, part of the journey that you're learning is how to do things in a way that is the most efficient way. You know, how to structure your life in a way that makes it work for you instead of working against you. And sort of all of those simple little things that you can do to make things flow more easier for yourself so that it doesn't always feel like you're fighting against the tide. To hitch your wagon to the universe in this way, you need to learn to listen. This means tuning into what feels right or wrong at any given time as your intuition is increasing. Sometimes you will want to push forward, yet your intuitive knowing will guide you to rest. Sometimes you will want to hide from a challenge, and yet know in your bones it's time to step up and shine with boldness despite the fear you may feel. The universe has a sense of natural flow, cycles, and timing that assures us that it supports every dream we dare to dream, and that every one can come to fruition in due course. It may not look exactly as you expect, but if you have set in motion with desire and intention, karmic law will ensure that it finds expression. For this to happen in the most loving, graceful, and easy way, you must learn to heal, fear, and sense the currents of life and work with them, rather than push against them. This is about common sense, allowing yourself to be helped, not making things more difficult for yourself than they need to be. Imagine that you have a chance to share a feeling of love in a room full of receptive people. The time is right. They are open and your efforts create the maximum effect for love's success. Or you could expend the same amount of time and energy by arguing with one disinterested person in an attempt to get them to understand and receive your love, even though they actually have no interest in doing so. They just wish to have their own point of view and for you to agree with that. One is working with the law of efficiency, and the other is working against the tide of life. It is not bad to choose the harder way sometimes, but it can be a great learning experience. But you are being encouraged with this oracle to explore the easier and more graceful way more often, especially at this time in your life, because there is a helping hand, a natural wave of energy and life that is going to be able to support your rising spirit in manifesting something truly beautiful and special in the world. So, yeah, the law of efficiency is basically the path of least resistance. We find the strength that comes from letting go and trusting that the universe knows what it is doing. Yeah. The law of least resistance. And that doesn't mean that we don't put effort into the things that we care about. It just means that we understand where our effort will be best suited and where it will receive reap the most rewards, right? And so right now you guys are really being guided to focus on developing your intuition, working on your shadow, really bringing those aspects of yourself that have been unseen and unheard and unacknowledged to the surface, whatever ways you guys are called to do that. But that's where your efforts will be best placed right now. And yeah, I mean, for a lot of us with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's not a very difficult thing to do because we have all this free time right now to be going through that process, right? And to be taking time out to get to know ourselves better, to do all this spiritual work on ourselves. And you're going to receive a lot of rewards from doing that spiritual work. So let's see. And now, yeah, I want to pull some of these. Pisces, May 2020. Pisces, that's a lot of cards. Pisces, May 2020. Very clear cards, please. Okay. Pisces, May 2020. Okay, so we have shift. So you guys are going through a major shift right now, a shift in consciousness, a shift in understanding, a shift in perception. And in order to go through this shift, you really need to allow yourself the space to do that. To really give yourselves the space to grow and to have that quiet and introspective time, right? And to know that everything does happen in its due time and you don't have to rush through this process. You can just allow it to unfold as it's meant to unfold. Yeah, and yeah, holding that sacred space for yourself during this time. I'm feeling that very strongly. And then we have patterns. So it's like the shadow work, right? Like the patterns and the different ways that we see and perceive the world, the different ways that we act, the self-defeating ways that we act. All of the patterns that hold us back, seeing and being able to identify those patterns and to create new patterns and to create new ways of being that are more beneficial. And more efficient, like it was just talking about, right? And then we have absence and renewal. So I'm seeing the absence, being in the void, being in that gentle space, right? Being in that space where we allow that flow, we allow that void, we allow the things to leave that are ready to leave, to make space for the things that come in, the renewal, the new. We release the old and make way for the new. We meditate. This is a card of meditation. It's meditation, it's contemplation. It's about the renewal that comes from giving yourself time and space for this process. It's interesting we have space and time right next to each other too, right? Because we talk about, like, as we're shifting consciousness, like we live the space-time continuum. And so I'm feeling this almost like this shift of the space-time continuum and of the dimensions and the realities, right? As we're shifting into we're shifting into this 4-dimensional reality and then this 5-dimensional reality ultimately, right? And just how you're really feeling and going through that process right now. And you are heavily involved in this ascension process. And that's like, yeah, that's where you guys are meant to be right now. Like, if you are really allowing yourself to go through that process, like, that's where you're meant to be, because you guys are going to help to lead this revolution that is coming about, this spiritual revolution that's calling us into this new earth. And like, you're doing this first by taking yourselves through this process and allowing your own personal revolution, your own personal spiritual revolution to occur. Yeah. Repetition. And it does so through repetition, through building a practice, building a spiritual practice, building a spiritual foundation, a ritual, the things that you do that are sacred, that you do on a regular basis, that bring you closer into this this new space, right? That help you to develop your intuition more readily, that allow for that process to occur. So that's what we've got for that. Clear. Any advice for Pisces for May from the Ascended Masters? Advice for Pisces from the Ascended Masters. Advice and guidance for Pisces. What is happening for Pisces? Yeah. So we have Lord Shiva, transcendence, rise up, honor your inner force, steps are being given, dance with the universe. So transcendence, right? This process, this ascension process, is transcending all of the outdated forms and versions of yourself and just rising up into this higher knowledge, right? This higher timeline. Just enjoying that process of communing with spirit, communing with the universe, communing with the different aspects of yourself. And we have Master Buddha, increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. So this is your intuition, right? As that's developing, and you are being given different steps and different things that you're meant to be doing and different ways that you're meant to be going with your spiritual practice and with your life in general are being slowly revealed to you when you're taking that time to tap into your intuition and listen. And so just really listening and paying attention to those things as they're being shown to you, as those steps are being given, and paying attention, like we said, to the synchronicities and stuff like that are going to be coming up, that are going to be helping to guide you. We have Isis, magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming reality. Stay focused. So this is also as you're learning to develop the power of your mind and your power to manifest and create what you want to manifest and create. And so a lot of this is going to be happening for you guys in your dreams. It's going to be happening when you're dreaming. It's going to be happening when you're meditating. And so really, I'm getting the message to really pay attention to your dreams. You guys might be having some really interesting dreams, and there could be gems and wisdom in there for you. So just to really sink into that and pay attention to that. And also to really, make sure that you're always aware. I mean, not being hypervigilant, but to be aware of your thoughts. And be aware of the repetitive, this goes back to the patterns thing, the repetitive patterns and ways that you're thinking, because that is also creating a reality. And so you want to become really conscious with the way that you create your reality. You want to be conscious about the words that you speak. You want to be conscious about the things that you think. You want to be conscious about when you're daydreaming, when you're sitting there, when you're imagining, you are creating. You are such a powerful creator, and your ability to create and your energy is becoming more and more powerful every day. So just really knowing that and utilizing that to your benefit. It's another way of like the efficient use of our energy and our time, right? It's like knowing how to utilize your thoughts efficiently to produce what it is that you want. So really channeling and using that time, like intentionally daydreaming, intentionally, working on lucid dreaming, stuff like that. Like, just being very intentional with the things that you do. That's what I'm getting more than anything else. Be intentional with the things that you do, whether it's a ritual that you create for yourself, whether it's a way that you meditate, whether it's involved with the thoughts that you're thinking and the things that you're planning, just the day-to-day things that you do in your life. Like really put a lot of intention and a lot of mindfulness into all of those things. And we have Melchizedek, higher learning. You have learned from experience. More inner study now is required to further progress. So this is just more confirmation about the studying on your spiritual path and looking at the things that you're being drawn to right now. Like, what is drawing you in? What is fascinating you? What are the things that you would like to know more about? And just like committing yourself to a path of study and committing yourself to a singular or a path of study that may not just be one thing. Don't limit yourself maybe to just one thing, but focus on a couple. And this goes back to the efficient use of energy thing again. Focus on one or two things that you're really interested in and that you really want to develop, and start learning about those more and start putting the effort and the work into becoming a master of those things. you know, they have that phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. Like, that's not what we're going for right now. Like, we want to really be able to fine tune and laser our focus and put our efforts in where they're going to reap the most rewards. And wherever that is for you is going to be wherever you're the most strongly drawn. Like, if you're doing something or you're learning about something and you're really fucking excited about it, keep learning about that thing. Keep doing that thing. If you're doing something and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool and this is kind of fun and this is interesting, but you're not feeling that same spark, then don't do so much of that and put more of your energy into the thing that, or things that make you really ignite your passion and your focus, and really allow yourself to develop some mastery around those things. And that's going to help as well as you're finding your life plan and your life goals and you're moving towards that, which you guys absolutely are. And you can also ask for signs and synchronicities from the universe to show you if you're not sure where exactly it is that you're being guided. Ask for those signs and synchronicities and see what direction spirit points you in. And then we have Hilarion, divine healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. So you do have an ability for your light to support others. But sometimes Pisces does this a little bit too much. And so what I'm feeling right now is really taking that time for yourself right now. Taking that time for yourself to continue to grow and to shift and to become and to tap into your own intuition, and not worrying so much about everybody else. Just knowing that by you doing the healing and you doing the work to heal yourself and to grow, you are already helping people just by the energy of that. You're healing the collective. We're all connected and we're all one. So everybody's benefiting from the work that you're doing. And that's really all you have to do at this specific time for others, is to heal and work on yourself. And eventually, like I said, that's probably going to translate for a lot of you into some type of healing modality or some type of, being an empowerment coach, or I don't know. There's so many different possibilities, like any type of way that will be a way that you can be of service to others. But right now it's about being of service to others by being of service to yourself. That's a really important message for a lot of you. And then I have Lady Venus, downloads and understanding. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realms. So just more communication, that you're getting so much information coming in all the time. And we do need that rest and that recuperation period sometimes so that we can process all of the downloads and all of the information that's coming in. And so just allowing yourself and giving yourself the space and the time for that. Doing some journaling, doing some meditation, doing whatever it is that you need to do, and just being present, being really present. And we also have Gaia, earth connection. Be mindful of the planet, come back to earth, stay grounded. So this is also about just connecting with nature more. Just really going out and connecting with nature and feeling that sacred connection between yourself and the earth. And for some of you, your spiritual path may have a lot to do with the planet and with the earth. And so just really tuning into all the cycles and phases of Mother Nature and the cycles and phases of yourself. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm getting for you guys as far as all of that goes. So much juicy spiritual development going on right now for you guys. Yeah, and then I was gonna ignore it, but I really can't. So we've got Lady Portia, divine order. Do what you feel is right. An important lesson is unfolding. So I think why this was this is not necessarily, this is for maybe one specific person or a couple people that you have a really important lesson that is unfolding right now. And it's really teaching you a lot about stepping into your own empowerment and stepping into your own power and finding your own voice. And so it's really important. This whole process of learning how to tap into your intuition is going to be key for whoever this is for, because that's the only way that you're going to figure out how to do what is right in this situation, is to really go by your own internal guidance. And it's not what is right as far as like, what does society say is right? Or like, what do my parents say is right? It's like, what is right for you? It's doing what feels right for you in this situation. What resonates with you? What is it that's going to allow you to sleep at night? That is the choice. That's the choice that you need to make. It's about learning how to choose yourself first. That's what I'm hearing coming through too. It's there's a lesson for somebody surrounding learning how to choose themselves first, maybe more than one person. And yeah, So how do we do that? How do we choose ourselves? We choose ourselves by doing what resonates with us, by doing what feels right for us, by putting ourselves first, by sometimes saying yes when we want to say yes and saying no when we need to say no. And knowing how to set boundaries. For some people, there are lessons coming up right now around setting boundaries and learning how to do that. Whether it's boundaries with yourself or whether it's boundaries with other people. And then how to uphold those boundaries once we've set them. So yeah, there's a lot of intense lessons going on, and there's so much going on for you guys right now around your intuition and your spiritual growth, but it's like some of that isn't necessarily going to be warm and fuzzy because it's that shadow work, right? Like tapping into those darker aspects of ourselves as well, knowing that like the two fish, right? We all hold that duality of dark and light and getting comfortable in our darkness as much as in our light. And if there's any of you who are much more comfortable in one phase or the other, it's not necessarily people that are always comfortable in their light. Some people are really comfortable in their dark, and embracing the light is what's scary to them. But like whatever it is, like if there's any of you who are much more comfortable with one than the other, it's about really trying on the other side and seeing how that fits, just seeing how that fits and how that feels. And once again, choosing what feels right and what resonates for you, not what society is telling you is correct, And a lot of times some of this shadow stuff and these taboos and these things that we feel drawn to, that we feel like shameful or embarrassed about admitting, or like these different things, right? Like, it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean that something's wrong just because society deems it so. Like, it's up to us all to determine what's right and wrong for ourselves, and like what feels good and what doesn't. And there's nothing that we desire or no aspect of ourselves is really is wrong, right? And is shameful. And so it's learning how to embrace all those aspects and love all those aspects of ourselves. And if there are our desires and motivations and things within us that go against what we perceive to be our own morals, like that's okay too, that those parts exist within us. It's just about acknowledging them and seeing like what's underneath that, like what's the desire underneath that, like what is it that we really want and what is it that we really need, and what needs are seeking to be fulfilled in these that are trying to come out in these ways that make us uncomfortable. And how can we fulfill those needs in a different way so that maybe we don't have that strange yearning or whatever it is that like really repels us, or repulses us, should I say, or we feel is totally unacceptable and goes against, there's always a way to satisfy. If we can look at our shadow desires and we can sort of understand what the underlying need is that's causing the desires, there's always a way to fulfill those that can be in line with our own morals and our own values. And so it's just kind of getting creative with that process too. So that's another thing that I have for you guys. And I don't know. I'm thinking we can probably end the reading there. I'm just going to pull one of these and just see what these say real quick. Clear. Pisces, any last messages for Pisces? Last messages for Pisces. Final messages, Pisces, May 2020. Okay. So we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? We have Imrama. Where are you being called to journey to? So two cards about where you're being called to go, whether that's an internal journey or an external journey. Just really getting in touch with your true desires and needs, and like what is it that's calling your soul. So that's perfect. Seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. And so that's what we're doing right now, right? We talked about laying those foundations, creating those foundations from which we can then pursue our soul calling and our dreams. Inner temple devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So tuning into the heart, meditating, heart meditations, heart opening and awakening meditations can be beautiful. Using the heart, the energy of the heart to ground us when we meditate, to sort of like tune us into the frequencies that we're looking to carry within us, and just that constant unfoldment of the awakening and the journey of the heart. And share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. So this is just about, I feel like this ties into as far as the decisions we're making and what feels right and what feels wrong for us, and just speaking up when things don't feel right for us. And, not just going with the crowd when we know that something isn't resonating with our heart. And the guidance that you're receiving, as far as, like we were talking about, guidance that's coming through, those steps that you're being guided to take that are going to bring you towards your calling, are divinely guided. And you can trust that. And you can trust that, and you can feel into that, and know how you can trust that by tuning into this inner temple of your heart. Because when you perceive from the heart, you can perceive truth. And so just really tuning into, if something feels good and it carries that vibration of that heart energy, and it feels good and it feels solid in your heart when you perceive it and you hear it, then you know that it's something that is divinely guided. But you guys are receiving lots of divinely guided insight right now. If it makes you feel uncomfortable because it challenges you and pushes you out of your comfort zone, that's a good thing. If it makes you feel uncomfortable in a way that just really, that the way that I'm talking about, where it really doesn't sit right and it really just doesn't feel, it gives you that just not good feeling, that's when it's guidance that you would want to question. But for you guys, that guidance that lights up your heart, even if it's asking you to step out of your comfort zone a little, is that divine guidance coming through for all of you beautiful, beautiful Pisces creatures. So I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful night, and I will talk to you all again soon.